Welcome to Learning Radius. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs. In this video, we'll be discussing another 10 topics of economic and social development. The 10 topics of discussions are digital lending, cryptocurrency bill 2021, Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline, K-shaped recovery from COVID, GST compensation to states, Iraq, One District, One Product ODOP scheme of Uttar Pradesh, Anti-Dumping Duty, Limited Liability Partnership LLP Act 2008, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement. The first topic as it is digital lending. Reserve Bank constitute a working group on digital lending, including lending through online platforms and mobile apps. So that's a discussion and that's the current affair. Reserve Bank constitute a working group on digital lending, including lending through online platform and mobile apps. Recent spurt and popularity of online lending platform, mobile lending apps, digital lending has raised certain serious concerns which have wider systematic implications. Against this backdrop, a working group is being set up to study all aspects of digital lending, all aspects of digital lending activities in the regulated financial sector as well as by unregulated players so that an appropriate regulatory approach can be put in place. So digital lending, UPSC can ask from prelims and mains perspective. So against this backdrop, a working group is being set up to study all aspects of digital lending activities in the regulated financial sector as well as by unregulated players so that an appropriate regulatory approach can be put in place. So the terms of reference for the working group would be as follows. Evaluate digital lending activities and assess the penetration and standard of outsourced digital lending activities in RBI regulated entities. Identify risk posed by unregulated digital lending to financial stability, regulated entities and consumers. Suggest regulatory changes, if any, to promote orderly growth of digital lending. Recommend measures, if any, for expansion of specific regulatory or statutory perimeter and suggest the role of various regulatory and government agencies. Recommend a robust fair practices code for digital lending players in sourced or outsourced. Suggest measures for enhanced consumer protection and recommend measures for a robust data governance, data privacy and data security standard for deployment of digital lending services. So here this is terms of services and terms of references, the 7 terms of references for the working group as it is follows. So you can read the same right from the study material too. So here it is about digital lending. There should be a clarity. What is digital lending? At the same time, why we are discussing digital lending? Because Reserve Bank constitute a working group on digital lending, including lending through online platforms and mobile app. Against this backdrop, a working group is being set up to study all aspects of digital lending activities in the regulated financial sector as well as by unregulated players so that an appropriate regulatory approach can be put in place. So that is the discussion. Next is about cryptocurrency bill 2021. Analysts have speculated that the new cryptocurrency bill might impact some existing investors who are already investing in private digital currencies like Bitcoin in the country. The central government has finally revealed that it will bring a new bill on cryptocurrencies, the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021 in the ongoing budget session in the Parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that an inter-ministerial committee has suggested a ban on private cryptocurrencies in India like Bitcoin in India. So here cryptocurrency, what is cryptocurrency? UPSC can ask. At the same time, the characteristic features of cryptocurrency. In mains perspective also you can expect cryptocurrency as such. So analysts have speculated that the new cryptocurrency bill might impact some existing investors who are already investing in private digital currencies like Bitcoin in the country. The central government has finally revealed that it will bring a new bill on the cryptocurrencies, the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021 in the ongoing budget session in the Parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that an inter-ministerial committee, IMC, has suggested a ban on private cryptocurrencies in India like Bitcoin in India. Additionally, the same committee has pitched for the introduction of official digital currency that will be appropriately regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. A high-level inter-ministerial committee constituted under the chairmanship of Secretary to study the issues related to virtual currencies and propose specific action to be taken in the matter recommended in its report that all private cryptocurrencies except any virtual currencies issued by the state will be prohibited in India. Reserve Bank of India had banned banks from processing transactions relating to cryptocurrency in 2018, but Supreme Court wide judgment dated March 4, 2020 lifted the ban. Since then, cryptocurrency has been operating in the country. So that is a discussion about the cryptocurrency. Next is Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline. So benefits of pipeline, we know rapid expansion of gas-based economy is a must to achieve self-reliance in India. Is the reason behind government's push for one nation, one gas grid. Pipeline would improve the ease of living in both the states and reduce the expenses of the poor, middle class and entrepreneur of both the states. So rapid expansion of gas-based economy is a must to achieve self-reliant India. It is the reason behind government's push for one nation, one gas grid. Pipeline would improve the ease of living in both the states and reduce the expenses of the poor, middle class and entrepreneurs of both the states. Pipeline would become the base of the gas distribution system in many cities and would form the base of CNG-based transport system in these cities. Pipeline would provide clean energy to Mangalore refinery and would play a major role in reducing pollution in both the states. It will also help India in saving thousands of crores of foreign exchange for the country. Experts around the world opine that in the 21st century, whichever country emphasized the most on connectivity and clean energy would reach new heights. So it is about the new discussion that is about the Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline. Rapid expansion of gas-based economy is a must to achieve self-reliant India. It is the reason behind government push for one nation, one gas kit. Pipeline would improve the ease of living in both the states and reduce expenses of the poor, middle class and entrepreneurs of both the states. So that is a basic advantage of that particular pipeline. At the same time, the route of Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline, that particular geography should be there in your mind, and UPSC can ask a question related to that particular geography even. Next is K-shaped recovery from COVID. The prospects of a K-shaped recovery from COVID are increasing both in India across the world and across the world. A K-shaped recovery happens when following a recession, different part of the economy recover at different rates, times or magnitudes. This is in contrast to an even uniform recovery across sectors, industries or group of people. So the prospects of K-shaped recovery, UPSC can ask the term K-shaped recovery is related to what? So the prospects of K-shaped recovery from COVID are increasing from both in India and across the world. A K-shaped recovery happens when following a recession, different part of the economy recover at different rates. Different part of the economy recover at different rates, times or magnitude. This is in contrast to even uniform recovery across sectors, industry or group of people. So that's the point. When following a recession, different part of the economy recover at different rates, different times or different magnitude. In contrast to even uniform recovery across sectors, industry or group of people. So that is what called K-shaped recovery from COVID. K-shaped recovery leads to change in the structure of the economy or the broader society as economic outcomes and relations are fundamentally changed before and after the recession. This type of recovery is called K-shaped because the different part of the economy when charted together may diverge, resembling the two arms of the Roman letter K. So that is, this type of recovery is called K-shaped because the different part of the economy when charted together many diverge, resembling the two arms of the Roman letter K. So as like the Roman letter K, it goes in different direction, different magnitude, different way of recovery. That is why it's called the K-shaped recovery. Next is GST compensation to states. The center will release 30,000 crore as GST compensation to states from the compensation cess collection during the year. Why is the particular payment done? As per the GST Compensation Act 2017, it is guaranteed that the states would be compensated for any loss of revenue in the first 5 years of GST implementation until 2022 using a cess levied on sin and luxury goods. So that is another GK you are supposed to understand. As per the GST Compensation Act 2017, it is guaranteed that the states would be compensated for any loss of revenue in the first years of GST implementation until 2022 using a cess levied on sin and luxury goods. However, the economic slowdown has pushed both GST and cess collection down over the last year, resulting in a 40% gap last year between compensation paid and cess collected. So that is about GST compensation to states. Some states are likely to face a GST revenue gap of 3 lakh crore this year as the economy may contract due to COVID-19, which Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman termed as unforeseen act of God. GST compensation cess is levied by the Goods and Service Tax Compensation of States Act 2017. The object of levying this cess is to compensate the state for the loss of revenue arising due to the implementation of GST on 1st July 2017 for a period of 5 years or such period as recommended by the GST Council. GST being a compensation based tax would result in loss of revenue for manufacturing heavy states. So that is much clarity should be there in connection with what is GST compensation cess. So I told about GST compensation cess, and in detail I have read what is GST compensation cess. So is levied by the Goods and Service Tax Act 2017. The object of levying this cess is to compensate the states for the loss of revenue arising due to the implementation of GST on 1st July 2017 for a period of 5 years or such period as recommendation by the GST Council. GST being compensation based tax would result in loss of revenue for manufacturing heavy states. So that is about GST compensation to states. So the center will release 30,000 crore as GST compensation to states from the compensation cess collection during this year, during the year. So that is the discussion. But states are likely to face a GST revenue gap of 3 lakh crore. So it's almost 10 times. 3 lakh crore this year as the economy may contract due to COVID-19, which Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman termed an unforeseen act of God. So that is the discussion. Next is PARAG. It's a major component of the STARS project under World Bank. The establishment of PARAG, Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. So Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development is a national assessment center. So once again, what is PARAG? Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. Included in the National Education Policy 2020, this autonomous institution under the Union Education Ministry will set norms for students' assessment and evaluation for all school boards across the country, most of which currently follow norms set by state governments. It will also guide standardized tests to monitor learning outcome at the state and national level according to NEP. So it's a major component of the STARS project under World Bank. The establishment of PARAG, Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development, is a national assessment center. Included in the National Education Policy 2020, this autonomous institution under the Union Education Ministry will set norms for student assessment and evaluation for all school boards across the country, most of which currently follow norms set by the state government. It will also guide standardized testing to monitor learning outcome at the state and national level according to NEP. Next discussion is One District, One Product ODOP scheme of Uttar Pradesh. About ODOP, Uttar Pradesh government may introduce Sunhari Khand, also known as orange flesh sweet potato, in the hot cooked food scheme of Anganwadis and the midday meal scheme in primary school under One District, One Product. So it is Sunhari Khand. So Uttar Pradesh government may introduce Sunhari Khand, also known as orange flesh sweet potato, in the hot cooked food scheme of Anganwadis and the midday meal scheme in primary schools under ODOP. ODOP is the first of its kind started by Uttar Pradesh. It aims at promoting one product, one every district in the state. Under the initial phase of ODOP program, One District, One Product program, 106 products have been identified from 103 districts across 27 states. So what is this ODOP program? I hope it's clear. And the main objective of the One District, One Product scheme of Uttar Pradesh are as follows: preservation and development of local crafts, skills and promotion of the arts, increase in the outcome and local employment resulting in the decline in migration for employment, improvement in the product quality and skill development, transforming the products in an artistic way through packing and branding, to connect the production with tourism, live demo and sales outlet, gift and souvenirs, to resolve the issue of economic difference and regional imbalance, to take the concept of ODOP to national and international level after successful implementation at state level. So these are the significant objective of One District, One Product scheme of Uttar Pradesh. Next discussion is about anti-dumping duty. So what is the issue? First of all, the Commerce Ministry investigation arm DGTR has initiated a probe to review the need for the continuing imposition of anti-dumping duty on certain types of steel products imported from China following complaints from domestic industry according to a notification. So what is anti-dumping duty? The Commerce Ministry investigation arm DGTR has initiated a probe to review the need for the continuing imposition of anti-dumping duty on certain types of steel products imported from China following compliance from domestic industry according to a notification. So ISMT Limited and Jindal Saw Limited have filed an application before the Director General of Trade Remedies, that is DGTR. So Director General of Trade Remedies for a sunset review of the anti-dumping duty imposed on imports of seamless tubes, pipes and hollow profiles of iron alloy or non-alloy steel from China. So here once again the ISMT Limited and Jindal Saw Limited have filed an application before the Director General of Trade and Remedies for a sunset review of the anti-dumping duty imposed on imports of seamless tubes, pipes and hollow profiles of iron, alloy or non-alloy steel from China. So what is anti-dumping duty and what anti-dumping duty as such is on what all product anti-dumping duties are applied? That can be a direct question from UPSC. So like seamless tubes, pipes, hollow profiles of iron, alloy or non-alloy steel from China. The applicants have alleged that dumping of these products from China has continued even after the imposition of anti-dumping duty, and there have been a significant increase in the volume of imports. So that's the discussion. The applicants have alleged that dumping of these products from China have continued even after the imposition of anti-dumping duty, and there have been a significant increase in the volume of imports. So what is the role of DGTR? I told what is DGTR before. Here you can see Director General of Trade and Trade Remedies. So the role of DGTR would review the need of the continued imposition of the duties in force and examine whether the expiry of existing duties is likely to lead to the continuation or recurrence of dumping and impact the domestic industry. So what is DGTR I told, and what is the role of DGTR? DGTR would review the need for the continued imposition of the duties in force and examine whether the expiry of existing duty is likely to lead to the continuation of recurrence of dumping and impact of the domestic industry. Now, what is Director General of Trade Remedies? That is DGTR, the Director General of Trade Remedies, earlier known as Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, was named in May 2018 as Integrated Single Window Agency for providing comprehensive and swift trade defense mechanism in India. So, what is DGTR? Again, DGTR is in news. So, the Director General of Trade Remedies, earlier known as Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, was named in May 2018 as an integrated single window agency for providing comprehensive and swift trade defense mechanism in India. Earlier, the Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties dealt with anti-dumping and CVD cases. Director General of Safeguard dealt with safeguard measures, and DGFT deal with quantitative restriction safeguards. DGTR brings DGAD, DGS and safeguard functions of DGFT into its fold of merging them into one single nation entity. DGTR now deals with anti-dumping, CVD and safeguard measures. So that is about Director General of Trade Remedies. There should be clarity regarding that particular term. Next is LLP, that is Limited Liability Partnership. Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. With the objective of unleashing the entrepreneurial spirit of our youth and to remove the fear of criminal prosecution for non-substantive, minor and procedural omission and commission in the normal course of their business transaction, the Government of India in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs decided to initiate the process of decriminalization of compoundable offences under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008 for greater ease of doing business for law-abiding LLPs. So that is a great support to LLPs. So with the object of unleashing the entrepreneurial spirit of our youth and to remove the fear of criminal prosecution. So to avoid the fear of criminal prosecution for non-substantive, minor and procedural omission and commission in the normal course of their business transaction, the Government of India in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs decided to initiate the process of decriminalization of compoundable offences. So that is decriminalization of compoundable offences under the LLP Act 2008 for greater ease of doing business for law-abiding LLP. So it's a great news for all LLPs, and that gives the basic objective is to unleash an entrepreneurial spirit of our youth and to remove the fear of criminal prosecution for non-substantive, minor and procedural omission and commission in the normal course of their business transaction. The objective of the decriminalization exercise is to remove criminality of offences from business laws where no malified intentions are involved. So that's the most important thing. So while doing a business, there should not be any tension in the mind of the LLP directors. So they should be in a positioned to do the business with a ease of mind state. An exercise was undertaken to identify those provisions of the Limited Liability Act, violation of which do not result in injury to public interest but are presently criminal in nature with fine as well as punishment after conviction being provided for in the Act. So now there is a great look from the side of the central government. They are cross-checking what are the major concerns in Limited Liability or LLP Act. So an exercise was undertaken to identify those provisions of the Limited Liability Partnership Act, violation of which do not result in injury to public interest but are presently criminal in nature with fine as well as punishment after conviction being provided for in the Act. So that's a great news for the LLP holders. Principles adopted for decriminalization of compoundable offences. Principle 1. Offences that relate to minor or less serious compliance issues involving predominantly objective determinations are proposed to be shifted in the in-house adjudication mechanism frame instead of being treated as criminal offence. So IAM, that is in-house adjudication mechanism. So offences that are related to minor or less serious compliance issues involving predominantly objective determinations are proposed to be shifted to the in-house adjudication mechanism framework instead of being treated as criminal offences. Principle 2 is offences that are more appropriate to be dealt with under other laws are proposed to be omitted from LLP Act 2008. Principle 3 is for non-compoundable offences that are very serious violations entailing an element of fraud, intent to deceive and caused injury to public interest or non-compliance of order of statutory authorities impinging on effective regulation status quo would be maintained. So this is principle 1 and principle 2 and principle 3 adopted for decriminalization of compoundable offences. In addition to the decriminalization of the Act, the government also proposes introduction of certain new concepts in the Act for greater ease of doing business. So one is small LLP. So there is something very small LLP. It is proposed to create a class of LLP called as small LLP in line with the concept of small companies. Small such LLP would be subject to lesser compliances, lesser fee or additional fee and lesser penalties in the event of default. This lower cost of compliance would incentivize unincorporated micro and small partnerships to convert into the organized structure of an LLP and devise its benefits. Next is non-convertible debentures. It is proposed to allow LLP to raise capital through issue of fully secured non-convertible debentures as an alternative to equity participation from investors who are regulated by SEBI or RBI. This will help deepen the debt market and enhance the capitalization of LLP. So that is small LLP and non-convertible debentures. So in addition to the decriminalization of the Act, the government also proposes introduction of certain new concepts into the Act for greater ease of doing business. And the new two concepts are, one is small LLP, another one is non-convertible debentures. So UPSC can ask more into non-convertible debentures, what is NCD is in discussion. It is proposed to allow LLP to raise capital through issue of fully secured non-convertible debentures as an alternative to equity participation from investors who are regulated by SEBI or RBI. This will help deepen the debt market and enhance capitalization of LLP. So that's about non-convertible debentures. The next topic of discussion is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement. The Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has approved signing of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement CECPA between India and Mauritius. So that is significant. What is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement CECPA between India and Mauritius? The India-Mauritius CECPA will be the first trade agreement to be signed by India with a country in Africa. So that is significant. The agreement is a limited agreement which will cover trade in goods, rules of origin, trade in services, technical barriers to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, dispute settlement, movement of natural persons, telecom, financial services, custom procedures and cooperation in other areas. So the agreement is a limited agreement which will cover trade in goods, rules of origin, trade in services, technical barriers to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, dispute settlement, movement of natural persons, telecom, financial services, custom procedures and cooperation in other areas. So here UPSC asked before what is SPS is about sanitary and phytosanitary. So there should be clarity regarding all the terms. CECPA provides for an institutional mechanism to encourage and improve trade between the two countries. Mauritius will benefit from preferential market access into India for its 615 products including frozen fish, specialty sugar, biscuit, fresh fruits, juices, mineral water, beer, alcoholic drinks, soaps, bags, medical and surgical equipment and apparel. So Mauritius will benefit from preferential market access into India for its 615 products. As regard trade and service, Indian service providers will have access to around 115 subsectors from the 11 broad service sectors such as professional service, computer related service, research and development, other business service, telecommunication, construction, distribution, education, environmental, financial, tourism and travel related, recreational, yoga, audiovisual services and transport services. The CCPA between India and Mauritius cover 310 export items for India, including foodstuffs and beverages, agriculture products 25 lands, textile articles another 27, base metal and article thereof another 32, electrical and electronic item another 13, plastic and chemical 20, wood and article thereof 15 and others. So CCPA between India and Mauritius covers 310 export items for India, including food and beverages. So that is the discussion about the CECPA between India and Mauritius. So that's all in this discussion. In the next video, we'll be covering another 10 topics of economic and social development. Economic and social development is very significant and it's the core of the entire discussion. Watch the discussion, listen to the terms and listen one or two times and have absolute clarity and read the material which is available in the Learning Radius website, and don't miss the Learning Radius premium preliminary question papers. Solve it and try to have an extra edge in your overall preparation. Have a great time. Calm version is the most productive version. Be calm and study. Happy reading to all of you. Thank you.